This time, we slide 5 of the world's most famous faces under the Bebyond Stardom microscope. This former drug dealer and jailbird never goes near alcohol or cigarettes. In May 2000, superstar rapper 50 Cent stood still long enough to stop 9 bullets. These days, his writing, producing, acting, and entrepreneurial activities keep him moving so fast an assassin would be hard-pressed to hit him once. But somehow he still found time to make trouble. As well as a long-running feud with Ja Rule, which ended in a knife fight, he's had well-publicized stoushes with a gaggle of gangster rappers, including Nas, Fat Joe, and Cameron. He even took on Big Daddy, Diddy. One of his biggest clashes with his former protege, The Game, ended in an exchange of bullets, in which one of The Game's entourage got shot. The battle coincided with the release of 50's aptly named album, The Massacre. The pair kissed and made up on the anniversary of Notorious B.I.G.'s shooting death in 2005.
In the shadow of the untimely death of Biggie, today marks the anniversary of his death. We're here today to show that people can rise above even the most difficult circumstances, and together we can put negativity behind us. A lot of people don't want to see it happen, but we're responding to the 2 most important groups, and that's ourselves and our fans.
To prove they were truly sorry, they handed over a check for $235,000 to the Boys Choir of Harlem. But then, 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, can afford it. Despite being on the scene less than a decade, he's one of rap's richest artists, along with Jay-Z and Diddy, with whom he has also patched things up. In between the release of his first multi-platinum albums, 50 Cent's entrepreneurial ventures got a kickstart in 2003, when Interscope granted him his own G-Unit record label. Later that year, he signed a deal with Reebok to distribute G-Unit sneakers as part of his G-Unit clothing company. His first foray into the world of celluloid came after the release of his first hit album, Get Rich or Die Trying, when he starred in a semi-autobiographical movie of the same name.
It was important for me to tell a story because there's been pieces of my life, you know, through different media outlets. People got a chance to hear portions of it, and they made assumptions on who I am without actually having information. So me making this film is allowing them to have a little bit more accurate idea of who I am, and they can make their judgments based on that.
In case anyone still didn't get the picture, he followed up with a book of the same name and then a video game called 50 Cent Bulletproof, in which his newfound acting talents came in handy.
I spent over 30 hours in the studio recording voiceovers for my character. You know, it was weird. It was like imagining falling off a building while saying different things, or you had to create the way you would actually sound doing things in different ways. It's almost like acting, but in a film where there's a lot of CG or green screen.
The Shoot 'em Up game, which also features the vocal talents and stylings of Eminem and Dr. Dre, received a mature rating, but 50 had no qualms about handing the loaded joystick to his 8-year-old son, Marquise.
He enjoys the game. He played Grand Theft Auto ahead of that. You know, like, I explained it. I think kids with common sense know the difference between video games and reality. You know, and if you have to limit your child from video games, then I think you should take cable television away from them also, because all of those images are shown there, and then you should allow him to have limited internet access. He shouldn't even be on the internet.
As dedicated as he is to the cause of exploiting his own image, heaven help anyone else who jumps on the bandwagon. In 2007, he filed a lawsuit against a company that allegedly used his likeness in an internet ad called Shoot the Rapper. He also recently headed to the courts to settle a long-running battle with former girlfriend Shanika Tompkins over maintenance payments for their son. Away from all the wheeling, dealing, feuding and rapping, he kicks back with his haute couture homies, rocking up in his best suit to salute fellow clothes label owner Giorgio Armani. Britain's 60th richest woman is one of very few public faces who admits to undergoing cosmetic surgery. Sharon Osbourne undersold herself as housewife superstar in her 2005 autobiography. In fact, it's probably safe to say that Sharon is not only the glue holding Ozzy together, she's the mastermind behind his solo success. They met when she was 17 and working for her father, who managed Ozzy's band Black Sabbath. 10 years later, his drug abuse and unreliability caused him to be fired from the band. Sharon took on managing him herself and proved as hard-assed and ballsy as her father. She put together his backing band, got him gigs, and steered him to great success in the 80s, in between giving birth to 3 children, while he wrestled with bipolar disorder and various addictions which saw him spiraling out of control. She picked him up, dusted him off, and sent him to rehab. And when Ozzy's tours dried up in 1996, she created their own summer festival. Ozfest has gone on to be a roaring success, attracting some of the biggest names in heavy metal.
It's just taken the media so long to accept metal as a musical genre that's not going away. And that's what it is. I mean, nobody ever says, well, do you think jazz is over? Do you think country and western's over? But they repeatedly always go for metal. It's like they treat you like you're the bastards of the music industry. And I think now the media realizes that it's not going anywhere.
As well as managing Ozzy, Sharon has also worked with Motorhead and ELO. Not one for mincing her words, she declared upon resigning as manager for the Smashing Pumpkins in 2000 that she had to resign due to medical reasons. Lead singer Billy Corgan was making her sick. That gave her more time to come up with the idea of documenting her dysfunctional family's shambolic life in the reality show The Osbournes, which ended up giving MTV its highest rating show in history.
Well, it's never going to get back to normal because of the show and how it's changed our lives. It will never be the way that it was 2 years ago. None of our lives will. And every time the crew go, we say, oh, thank God they've gone. Within a week, we're like, where are they? We really miss them. And we start calling them all, come by if you're in the area, we really miss you, and this, that, and the other. And then we're like, just bring them back. We really miss them.
A few months into the show, she announced she'd been diagnosed with colon cancer, but she kept quiet about the fact that she'd only been given a 33% chance of survival. Ozzy fell apart, but she insisted the cameras keep rolling as she conquered the disease. A year later, she founded the Sharon Osbourne Colon Cancer Program and cajoled Ozzy into designing T-shirts for breast cancer care.
And what could be better than to have an Ozzy stickman on the back of a shirt? And what could be better than Ozzy? I didn't make him. He decided that the money for the shirt would go to my colon cancer charity. And I have the Sharon Osbourne Colon Cancer Program in association with Cedars Sinai.
You choose.
And as usual, she had Ozzy's back.
If you weren't, if you weren't in rock and roll, what job would you choose?
Japanese.
Hello, my son.
If you weren't in heavy metal, what other career would you choose?
Prison.
Her famous candor won her a Glamour magazine award for Personality of the Year. It also earned her her own talk show, although her notorious lack of tact wasn't about to make her the next Oprah Winfrey.
I wish, but I could never be as good as Oprah, but different. I want it to be, it's Sharon. I mean, the show is called Sharon, and the show is hopefully done Sharonized.
She's also appeared on The X Factor and America's Got Talent, but her real passions are rescuing dogs, supporting charities, and raising funds for disaster victims. This feisty New Zealander didn't live in a house until he was 14 years old. The son of a film set caterer, Russell Crowe lived a nomadic life as a boy and got his acting start as an extra in films on which his mother worked. Despite his film star success, music has always been his first love. At the age of 16, he was Russ LaRock in his first band Roman Antics, which later became 30 Odd Foot of Grunts. Despite his superstar status as an actor, his poetic lyrics have pretty much fallen on deaf ears.
Well, everybody wanted to be Elvis at a certain point, right? But I think I've been, very blessed. I am Elvis, but kind of in reverse, My movies are good and my music apparently sucks.
That hasn't stopped him hitting the road with his latest outfit, The Ordinary Fear of God. And at a gig in 2006, he worked himself into a lather when music from the room next door threatened to drown out his singing. But then temper tantrums are nothing unusual for this sensitive artist, who was convicted of third-degree assault for chucking a faulty phone at an unsuspecting receptionist at the Mercer Hotel in New York. Not known for his sense of humour, he did have the good grace to send himself up the following year at an awards ceremony.
Because if there are any problems and you do get up here and go on too long, say hello to my little friend.
According to Russell, who was also involved in a late-night scuffle in Coffs Harbour in 1999, the odd punch-up is perfectly acceptable in his native Australia, claiming, "You've got to have a temper. You know what happens when you don't have one? One day you're walking down the street and you just pop." His embarrassing public displays have given his singer-wife Danielle Spencer plenty to grin and bear.
As she says every now and then, it's like, we may not be normal, but we have our own way of working things out in terms of, the rhythms and when we can be together and when we can't be together and how we deal with being apart.
Russ now puts his wife and 2 sons first, along with his beloved rugby team, the Rabbitohs, of course. Russell and his business partner, Robert Holmes Court, bought the cash-strapped club in 2006, after supporting them through the hard times for many years. One of the first changes he made was to axe scantily clad cheerleaders from the proceedings, proving that while he may be a bit of a thug, he's no sexist pig.
I've always found that there's a grey area in my mind with the cheerleading squads, I think if you're pushing towards the edge of athleticism, then I can understand it. But if it's not that sort of thing where people are doing 5 somersaults and landing on somebody else's shoulder and stuff like that, I'm not quite sure what it's there for. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. The positive response we've got, particularly obviously from women like my wife, when they heard that that's what was happening, it's all been, that it makes it a little easier for them to go to the game and just simply enjoy the actual sport.
He and his wife Danielle are in favour of replacing the cheerleaders with a percussion band, but not everyone is thrilled about the change.
We're not there to show a little bit of cleavage, we're there to support our team and to get the crowd into the game. Yeah. It's not about the racy outfits or the dancing even, it's about the team.
According to those that know him, the generosity Russ displayed in saving his favourite rugby team is merely the latest in a long line of selfless acts. While filming The Cinderella Man in Toronto, he donated around $250,000 to rebuild a library gutted by anti-Semites. Russell was apparently very upset that a place of learning should be attacked that way and wanted to give the community a morale boost. On another occasion, after learning about the drowning death of a pupil in rural Australia, he handed over $200,000 for the construction of a pool to teach children about water safety. The school's principal was said to be bowled over by his generosity and gave him a great rap, saying the many things he does up here people just don't know about. This Spanish beauty was said to be so terrified of walking the red carpet at the 2004 Oscars, she nearly stayed away. It's hard to credit Penelope Cruz with being shy. After all, anyone who signs up for a date with Tom Cruise is begging to be poked and prodded by the paparazzi. Cruz and Cruz met while filming an English-language remake of Abre los Ojos, which Penelope had starred in 4 years earlier. Vanilla Sky did little to impress critics or audiences, but it did spark off a 3-year relationship for Tom and Penne. Rumours of a wedding were followed by rumours that Penelope had called it off. Further rumours that their respective hectic schedules were playing havoc with the relationship were scotched by Tom.
I mean, we're not away from each other that much, you know. There's moments, you know, a couple weeks here and there, but you know, I have kids and family, and you know, there's a telephone and there's fax, and it's really wonderful, actually.
Still, the odd facts here and there failed to sustain the romance, and they split in January 2004. Since then, she's been linked to a string of stars, such as Javier Bardem, Matt Damon, and Kylie Minogue's Olivia Martinez. Although she's only admitted to a fling with Orlando Bloom and a 2-year relationship with Sahara co-star Matthew McConaughey. Gossip has also abounded about her relationship with fellow Hispanic actor Salma Hayek. After Penelope laid her hand on Salma's bottom at a press conference, the media was abuzz with speculation that the two beauties were cozying up behind closed doors.
Yes, we are very good friends for many, many years, so I think that shows in the film.
Yes, on set and off set too. It was very fun working together.
Like her best friend, Penelope is known for her passionate devotion to good causes. She recently lent her star power to the launch of an environmental initiative in the United States. The competition, launched by Global Green USA, is offering a hybrid taxi fleet or an equivalent cash amount to the city with the most environmentally friendly citizens. The cash will help fund dedicated city greening projects.
I do worry about the impact of global warming. I think, like almost everyone I know. And that's why I hope all the cities in America will decide to compete in the Greenest City Challenge. I think it will motivate people to make positive changes for our environment.
She recently went to India to film a documentary to raise money for underprivileged children. Along with her success on the big screen, her humanitarian work helped her earn a Knight of the Arts and Literature Order from the French government in 2006. Penne was bowled over by the recognition.
It's such an honor, and I'm really, really happy about that. It's tomorrow, and it's a huge honor. I don't know if I deserve something so big, you know. And I love this country, and the fact that France is giving me that is an amazing thing for me. Yeah.
Despite her humility, she's not backwards in coming forwards when it comes to cashing in on her celebrity and good looks. A recent campaign caused a stir when she was exposed for wearing false eyelashes in an advert for mascara. She has also lent her name and image to 2 Cents by Ralph Lauren, following up Glamorous with the more casual Daylight. Now keen to add yet another string to her bow, she is rumoured to be teaming up with her younger sister Monica to design a range of clothes. Also in the pipeline are plans to join the swelling ranks of celebrities outsourcing their reproductive services to the third world, and she hopes to adopt soon. On his official website, this actor, artist and activist signs off his messages with the words, "Love, only love." That sentiment may not sit well with Pierce Brosnan's famous on-screen character, but it does reflect his real-life commitment to saving the planet. Since 2001, Pierce has devoted himself to marine animal and wetland protection.
My wife, Keely Shea, is someone who entered my life with this full environmental warrior mindset, and it's one which I have embraced and one which I will continue doing. But I think everybody has to find their own niche, and whether it be this or, you know, welfare. I think you have to be a social worker in some aspect of your life, and I think acting goes hand in hand with that.
A particular passion has been raising awareness about the plight of whales, unashamedly using his celebrity profile to help launch research into endangered species.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a mission to protect whales and their habitat. Iceland, Japan, Norway, You do not have a license to kill that which belongs to the world. The commercial hunting of whales has been banned since 1986, yet since then more than 20,000 whales have been killed in defiance of this ban.
He also teamed up with marine environmental heavyweight Pierre Cousteau to spread the bad news and encourage people to take responsibility for our fragile planet.
The thoughtless spread of active sonar is killing marine mammals and fish and degrading the world's oceans. Now think of the sadness when our children ask us, what happened to the whales? Think of a world without whales. So, if we have a passion for what we know is right, we must fight. We must act together, now, here, and abroad. And I'm speaking also as an Irishman, and I will do as much as I possibly can, not only here today, but also abroad, to bring this technology under control.
Pierce's Irish heritage is a source of as much passion as his environmentalism. Despite his success in Hollywood and the UK, he has always clung tightly to his roots. After being educated in the public school in County Meath, his mother moved to London. Even after hitting the big time in a 4-picture deal as James Bond, Pierce could still hear his homeland calling. And when he was sent the script for Evelyn, he couldn't resist.
How's the hair? Looking very nice. Oh, good, thank you very much.
Who would you like to be as an...
I read it. I identified with it. It's about a father. I'm a father. It's about family. I have a family. I have a very large family. It's about Ireland. I'm an Irishman. I was brought up Catholic. It's about the church. It's about separation, abandonment. So there were many emblems there within this story which I could have an immediate reaction to and sympathy for.
With his last James Bond film in the can, he had a real opportunity to seize control of his creative future.
This is some kind of dream, I suppose, some kind of wish, some kind of desire that is probably deep-rooted in me and has always been there, one way or another, to go back to Ireland and in forming a company like Irish Dreamtime with the intention of going back there and doing Irish stories and being able to come over here and do things like The Tailor of Panama. That is a great challenge, and one is very fortunate and lucky to be able to do something like that. But that could only have been done really with the Bond, and with the success of Bond, you know, what do you do with that success?
What Pierce smartly did in 1996 was plough wads of cash into his own production company. As well as Evelyn, Dreamtime has also produced Laws of Attraction, Matador, Seraphim Falls, and a remake of The Thomas Crown Affair. In his spare time, Pierce brushes up on his training as a commercial artist and has started painting landscapes to be auctioned to raise funds for the Brosnan Trust, which distributes money to environmental, children's and women's health charities, proving
there's more to life than James Bond.